Welcome, welcome, welcome. Dearest YouTubers. What's up, Waylon? Don't know how I'm going to watch it. I mean, the way I look at it, Waylon, is it's just comedy, man. It's literally like I watch it with a group of people, and it's which is kind of fun at that point because we're all sort of like in agreement. Like the moment Lady Misery comes on the screen, we're just like, ugh. And then it's just her accent as well. We're like, my buddy was like, Nick, can you just like mute it? I mean, we have subtitles on anyway. Can you just mute the bloody show? And I'm like, moving forward, I might have to mute it every time she's speaking because her nails or her voice is like nails on a chalkboard. I mean, it's just hilarious at this point, dude. Jack's good to see you. 40 Viking. What's going on, brother? Jimmy Lima. What's going on, brother? Hope you doing well on the west side of the world. What up, Mad Dog? I liked it better than the past couple episodes, but holy shit, they feel like they drugged Tumbleton along for so long now. Yeah, remember when episode 4 was titled Tumbleton? We're finally going to see what happens in Tumbleton on the finale. It's like you were 4 episodes late in calling it. Watch them just call episode 8 The Battle of Tumbleton. It's like, well, this is how original you guys are. Yo, what's up, Dominic? How you doing, man? And I agree. You have Matt Smith and Emma Darcy. I mean, they really are. Like, and I do like the chemistry that they have together. I think that's probably one of the finer parts of the show. But man, like they are trying their hardest. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think the guy who plays Ormund is doing a decent job too. I mean, like the acting isn't really the issue with like majority of the characters. I think everyone is doing a decent job acting wise. If not, again, some people like Matt Smith and Emma Darcy are just carrying the show hard because everything else is just like the writing and these ideas are just god awful. I was going to try and find some memes out there, which I hadn't had a chance to quite do, but I did see this. I had to bookmark it because, oh my Lord. Oh, let me, I have to share my screen here. Look at this. Look at this. Throughout episode 7, we established this love triangle between Aemond, love triangle between Aemond, Alice, and Alicent. What the hell are you on, lady? What sort of mushrooms in Harrenhal are you taking? What love triangle? It was a freaking spell that Alice put on Aemond. That wasn't her mother. That wasn't his mother that he was literally having incest with. That was Alice. There's no actual love triangle. Alice doesn't even like Alicent. The writing is so stupid. It is not good, man. The writing from season 1, it's just gone downhill ever since season 1. Yeah, it really is. It's like a bad soap opera. It's like you might as well take it like As the World Turns and just make it this fantasy world and just throw in a bunch of shit in it. I think that's sort of Corliss. Certain actors aren't so good because of the certain decision casting making. I will say that too. I mean, yeah. What's up, Draconis? How you doing, man? And I agree. Like the Mysaria in the book is like Lady Misery. She's much better than the show portrays her to be, which is just really unfortunate. I mean, again, the book does a better job with a lot of characters, and some are, I think, decent in terms of what the show's trying to do here. But I love to hate Ormond so much. Yeah, I hear you, dude. Like, there's, His episode, man, at least the faceless man theory proved to be wrong. Yeah, I know, right? And I remember I was talking about that last stream, and I'm like, okay, good. I feel like we dodged a bullet on that one for sure. Cat and mouse game with Rhaena and Sheepstealer. I knew was such a waste. Rhaenyra obviously isn't going to kill her daughter niece. Yeah, I mean, she wanted her alive, and I kind of wonder what's going to happen now. And maybe they are going to be like, hey, we'll marry off Rhaena to you, you know, High Towers. Maybe that'll still happen, but. And again, I think the best parts of this was like, okay, I'm like, oh, we're gonna see some dragon fighting. That's cool. And I think for the sake of Sheepstealer held his own, right? Because it was Cyrax, Sea Smoke, and even Throat Goat, came in there, and I was like, I was literally thinking that once Caraxes stepped in, I'm like, oh, Sheepstealer's gonna die. Like, Sheepstealer's gonna die. But listen, Sheepstealer was able to make his way out, so I was like, all right. Because we were talking last week about the size of the dragons, and you can kind of see as I think this gave us an I'll pull the scene up here, but on my other tab, but this episode gave us an idea of the size comparison for your typical writing / Hollywood bullshit where you're trying to instigate this type of propaganda of incest and just this like lustful way of thinking that is not normal to human culture, right? Like this is just something like, oh, it's like, oh well, kids should watch the show. You're damn right, but also like this doesn't mean it's okay for us to watch it as well. I mean, I'm like, yeah, because I want to see like I like the mother banging her son. Nah, I'm listen. I read plenty of Freud in school. Like I don't need this. And it was a bunch of nonsense during the whole Dan's Allison's pretty much on the sidelines, right? Like she becomes like a minor character, and so my mic is cutting out. Oh, weird. I'm just getting it might be background noise and it's trying to pick up something. Yeah, Dragonfight was good. You're getting buff ring. Sorry, I had to do that. Yeah, I think it's must have more women involved. I think it's just they're trying to meander to the women in this and like other crap. Okay, it's probably surprisingly, it's probably YouTube and not StreamYard because my bit rate's good on my end. So, happened if you streams lately. Okay. Yo, what's up, Brent? How you doing? I don't know if I can leave and come back. I can maybe unplug my microphone. Hey, let me try and doing that. Hold on. I hope this is better. Let me know if it's cutting out still. At that point, it might be StreamYards. StreamYards might be screwing up the microphone. They had to make Rhaena lose Sheepstealer so she could get her dragon morning and become the last dragon rider as she is in the book. And I think that might happen. And I Sheepstealer might just be done at this point. Or imagine if someone actually finds Sheepstealer and that person's like, oh, what's your name? Oh, it's Nettles. Like, oh, now you're going to introduce Nettles. Hilarious. But we did get the word Nettles mentioned, right? The mentioning of the word. Rhaena's first husband was in the Vale. The Hightower husband doesn't come till later. But I think they're probably skipping that whole part of the Vale and probably just going to be doing the Hightower part. Because look, the finale is next week, literally in 5 days from much watching it. And then we have one last season and it's done. I think they're going to forego the whole Vale aspect. Oh, yeah, that's another good observation. I was like, when Baela's like, "Oh, did you hear that from your brother?" And poor Adam's like, "What?" I was like, "Oh, oh, Baela, you sweet summer child." Yeah, Sheepstealer was like, "I'll 2v1 you, no prob," and then Caraxes was like, "Hold my beer, hold on." Then why didn't Daemon kill him? Yeah, that's the question we're probably all offering or asking. Yeah, what's up, Seabrew? Every little bit still buffering. It's probably StreamYards. I mean, like, I'm not noticing any lag from my perspective, but it might be StreamYard still. We can't rule out StreamYards. It's always a problem. Caraxes is not actually big enough for me. Seems like he's gotten smaller from season 1. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong. I think it might be an interesting observation if you can try to find like images, and I don't know how you would really scale it, but listen, it might be possible. At this point, I wouldn't say, like, I wouldn't really defend them. Like, oh no, they couldn't possibly screw up Caraxes and the size of the dragons, right? Does Rhaena leave with Daemon when he heads into the Riverlands? I don't know if she will, because my question is, will we see any sort of conversation between Rhaena and Rhaenyra in the finale? Because you have to think, let's just say, for example, the finale is an actual 75 minutes of show. They might say, like, oh, it's like 125, or an hour and like 25 minutes long, like, so it's like 90 minutes, but it's like, no, that's like credits and post what happened in this episode, right? Like in the opening credits, factor that stuff out. We might actually get like 70, 75 minutes of an actual show episode. But I think how much of the episode is going to be devoted to the battle itself? Like, I mean, I'm not trying to be selfish, but at the same time, I am being selfish. And I think we deserve to have at least have like, oh man, like at least 40% of the episode to be nothing but battling and just something surrounding the efforts of battle, right? I don't want to be like, oh, 20% of the episode was just the Battle of Tumbleton and that was it. No. I might be a little bit more upset at that point in the finale. And I agree. That's the thing, right? Like, this went beyond the normal Targaryen incest that is usually done for political power and reasons. 100%. This was like, you didn't have to be weird with all this because this never happens in the book. So the idea that you thought, we're going to deliberately take Alicent, we're going to remove her from the Red Keep, we're going to send her to Harrenhal with the possibility of saying, hey, try to kill Daemon. And guess what, guys? Why would you do that for the people that have actually read the fucking book? Pardon my French. We already know what happens. This is not how Daemon dies. At no point was all like, oh my God, are they going to change the way Daemon dies and ruin one of the best possible deaths of the entire show? Vaffanculo. No, I assume they're going to declare Rhaena dead and she leaves as Nettles because her marrying for duty would be surrendering her agency. Right. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised by the end of the show that she isn't called Nettles. Like, your name is foregone. You're going to, your hair's already cut off. Well, at that point, we might just shave your head or dye your hair, and you're no longer Rhaena, Valerian, or Targaryen. Like, you have no relationship to this whole family. You are now known as simply Nettles, and that's it. I totally see that happening. Brent hated the dragon fight. They jumped sheepy for no damn reason. They did. Yeah. They did. And because I think, God, what episode was it? We were talking about some of the. It might have been after episode 4 when they were showing on the rest of the season of House of the Dragon, and it was like a collage or like a montage of scenes that were going to happen from episodes 5 through 8, or maybe more so 5 through 7, but 8 I think included. And I think there was a moment where it looked like it was Cyrax and Sea Smoke, and so it was like, okay, it had to be Adam and Rhaenyra, but at what point? I think I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure all of us on this stream a couple Tuesdays ago, we actually predicted that that was going to happen. Right, Rhaenyra, dude, I'm telling you, it's like they're making it seem like Rhaenyra, like, number one, never had control of being queen because it has never hasn't technically been declared, right? The Septons have not declared her being, or sorry, queen. And now that it's like, oh, guess what? Aegon II is still alive, y'all. I rolled my eyes when Rhaenyra said Rhaenyra was hiding in the brambles and nettles. Dude, exactly, Dominic. I was like, that's why I think I said, was it to you, Waylon, in Discord? I was like, wait till or I was like, at least we got the word nettles. But like the fact that they just threw that out there, I'm like, you guys aren't clever. In fact, you guys are just pissing us all off even more. I thought the Lord of the Targaryens can only bond with one dragon. If that's not true, does that mean that Jon can bond with Drogon and take back his throne? Well, lore-wise, I believe that's correct. But I think the idea is if your dragon was dead, I think you could potentially talk to another dragon in High Valyrian and like kind of tame it at that point. So if it might depend on the person too. Like, let's say Caraxes dies and Aemon is still alive. If Aemon was like, well, I need a dragon now, I'm pretty sure he could probably, maybe tame a dragon. I don't know if the size of the dragon matters at that point too. That could factor into it. But I think it could have been possible for Jon to bond with Drogon. And I hate to use the latter seasons of Game of Thrones as an example, but like, it's so dumb. But like when Drogon is just burning the Iron Throne and Jon's sitting right there, like Drogon could have been like, I'm going to kill you too. But like for some reason, Drogon didn't decide to. I know that was the writer's decision. But also, it was Drogon that Jon first touched. And then Dany was like, why are you touching my dragon, dog? Like, who are you? Well, I'm blood, auntie. When did she turn into this neurotic, insecure mess? What the fuck? Just as soon as she put on the crown, she's a totally different person. And who was it that? Oh, it was Helaena that was talking about, which I don't think was a terrible conversation by any means, but the idea that Helaena says, "Well, you have multiple dragons. Did that change you?" Not so much the crown, but I think Helaena has realized that even she has noticed that Rhaenyra is changed. But she started to get all crazy. She's like, "Oh my god, so Helaena, you're a dreamer." Starts off like nice and calm, and then she's like, "Tell me what you saw. Is it this? Is it that? Is it this? Is it that?" And it's like, "Yo, Rhaenyra, you need to take a chill pill. Maybe go have some wine, cool off for a bit." Look at the size of Caraxes in season 1, episode 2. I'm gonna have to go back and do that. Remind me if I forget, but yeah, I'll go back and check. I did say they were setting up Rhaenyra, Rhaena Daemon versus Aemon fight. Yeah, I thought that's what was going to happen. Like, oh, they're gonna try and like take Sheepstealer or something like that. Which again, it may happen because Sheepy's still alive. I hate to make Daemon a bad father now. In the books, he was anything but. Yeah, dude, again, there's another male figure that just got emasculated. I think you could say, well, they made Alicent try to kill her son. But again, that doesn't happen in the books. And then again, Daemon is a much better character that isn't cucked in the book. So I think we get part 1 and part 2. Starts with battle, get a break at the end, an absolute travesty. True. I think they might do something similar to that, where we kind of get this, lead up, the battle happens. There's a bit of a not so much an intermission, but it kind of just settles and then it just ramps up again, and then there's like a bit of a cliffhanger for the end, where people just can be like, "Oh my god!" And it's like, "Yes, finally something good." Yep. But I mean, Jim, it's kind of like it's kind of expected. Oh, that was Italian, by the way. Me speak French. Get out of here. I know you're right. Damn, it is a badass in the book. I think this is them hinting we aren't getting the expected God's Eye. Yeah, I think God's Eye's season 4 for sure at this point. Like based on the one episode left, like you'd have to make this episode like 2 hours long, and they're definitely not going to do that. Or 10 episodes, which is we know it's not. So now I will say, yeah, the show has gone full artard. I will say, I think this season is better than season 2. And I know you might go, Nick, that's not saying much. I definitely hear y'all loud and clear on that. But season 2 was just downright blasphemous. And at least there have been some things that are pretty close to the book. And then some of the things that they've created on their own, like trying to fill in the gap. And, you know, like we were talking about a couple weeks ago, the Laris and Aegon scene in the woods, right? Great scene, great dialogue, great message. And it's like, y'all can do that, but you just fumble the rest of the show. They have to do the Battle of the Gods. If not, like it'll go down as one of the biggest fumbles for any show that comes from a source material to not do something big like that. Probably because they themselves are stupid. It was a shot at George. Could be. What up, Dave? How you doing, man? Future Boy, what up? Daenerys had 3. Yeah, Daenerys had 3 dragons, right? And so John obviously like claimed or tamed one of them. And then obviously she lost one to the Night King when they went on the Dungeons and Dragons raid episode. I know a lot of people don't like that episode, but from a like a Dungeons and Dragons perspective, I kind of liked it for that reason alone. But for the story of Game of Thrones and A Song of Ice and Fire, I was like, nah, man. And yes, I agree. Those last 2 seasons are just fan fiction. I think God's Eye might be different in the show. Maybe some Rhaena and Sheepstealer. That's probably much to what was just previously said, right? Rhaenyra is going to go, okay, we're going to change your name to Nettles. That's it. And then she's going to get Sheepstealer. And then Daemon's going to be like, ride with me, find Aemon, and let's attack him. I think that's probably what's going to happen. So I was like, well, part of it was similar. You know, we didn't create a whole new character. We just took one that we just dismantled and then like kind of, you know, stuck some scotch and duct tape over her. And then that's what we called Nettles. The book pisses me off too because George has the tendency to make his characters dumb when he needs to kill them. Yeah, it's almost like George tends to get in this writing contradiction, and then his solution isn't removing them. It's leaving them in the story still, and then just they keep kind of getting. It's almost like they keep getting degraded. The show has become bad fan fiction. The writing stuff is not the same as season 1. The co-showrunner left after season 1. Oh, 100%, Jim. And that's why season 1 is so far above season 2 and season 3 together. Like, I could go back and watch season 1 and enjoy a majority of it, if not all of it. I don't know if I'll ever go back and watch season 2 or season 3 after this point. What up, Sherry? How you doing? How's your Tuesday? How's your Tuesday, isn't it? I love the Spider-Man live stream last night. Are you going to cover 2 and 3 separately too? Thanks, Goro. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you coming around. Yeah, we're definitely going to get into 2 and 3. So like I was talking with the guys after, and I was like, we definitely have. I actually went and watched part of Spider-Man 2 last night after the stream. And I'm like, man, this movie's so freaking good. But I haven't watched 3 in a while, which I said last night. So I'm going to go back and watch 3 as well, just to get an idea. But yes, we will definitely cover 2 and 3 separately. They're so off the book. I thought, honestly, Cyrax might die in that fight. Dude, I was like, I thought one of them might, either Cyrax or Sea Smoke might die. I'm like, is Sheepstealer just going to, like, just kill Cyrax? Like, it, got clawed or whatever, and I thought we were going to see like a bunch of Drakars just happen, and there's just like so much fire on there. Apparently, they didn't include Nettles or have Daemon's ongoing affair with Mysteria because they wanted folks to look at Daemon and Rhaenyra as couple goals. How is that working out for them now, right? Stabilize Zeem. Stabilize me? Sorry, wow. Listen, I've gotten that before, but number one, I'm American. Number two, I actually lift weights. I have these things called muscles, and Mom Donnie has nothing. I also have a better jaw structure than he does, but I know what you mean. I'm not taking that as an insult, because I'm 100% a patriot, and he's a communist, socialist bastard who needs to get kicked out of the country. YouTube, don't catch me for that. No, I'm kidding. The writers are going to include Rhaena at God's Eye battles. I think so at this point. I'm struggling just to accept a version of the story. I'm sure to look back on the series as a whole and think differently about the M. Yeah, I kind of wonder what, when the story is all done, is what George is going to say about it all. Aegon should just deflect to the blacks at this point. He'd be alive and then he'd be like, well, I'm going to be king or something like that, you know? You just like the Hugh and all stuff in the book too. It's just, honestly, I don't like their characters much in the book. The way they've done Hugh in the show isn't as bad. Ulf in the show, he's just like Ulf. He complains, and I'm like, bro, you're just a loser, man. At least Hugh's like trying to be like, I got a big dragon. I'm a pretty stocky guy. Like, you know, I can get by. I have a dragon, right? Like, I'm a knight. What can't I get? After we win this war, I could probably get, you know, the whole town or a city, right? Like, you know, just be a lord. Which again, that's, yeah, we start to see some of that betrayal start to take place with Ormund and Ulf, and I'm like, oh God. And I agree, Viking. Like the second half of season 6 is where it starts to really get bad. I like the first 5 seasons. I know some people say the first 4 seasons. I like most of 5 as well. George kills characters you love to rage bait viewers / readers, but keeps characters alive that should have died a long time ago. Yep. I agree. My Tuesday is proper nice. I'm rewatching Mobland right now, y'all, because Mobland season 2 starts I think next month, or is it August? I forget. Yeah, it was cool to see the way Bolton died. I mean, like, I think the guy who played Bolton did a great job. Like, I mean, like, everyone just hated his guts. And same thing with Euron. Euron was, I did not like Euron's character. I'm like, this dude's a piece. Side topic: have you fan casted X-Men movies yet? I mean, I saw some of the castings already. I don't have really a problem with them, especially Emma Frost. Muy bueno. I don't know who I would want someone to play Cyclops or Wolverine. I've seen some pretty decent choices for Storm on the internet. I think Atreus had a really good one, if I'm remembering correctly. And then I mean, you already know Jean Grey is. I don't know if I like the idea of Skarsgård, the one who played Pennywise, as Professor X. I don't know if I like that. Now, I think I can't think of the guy's name off the top of my head, but if y'all remember the show Iron Fist, the guy with the black hair that was like running the company until Danny showed up, that actor was also rumored to potentially playing Charles Xavier. And I'm like, I think he could do a good job. Magneto, man, that's tough. That's a tough one. Certainly not Giancarlo Esposito because he's too old too. Hell yeah, Morgan Zim, Donnie. Adrian Herrera, what's going on? What up? He is a Nepo baby, 100%. Martin does it with his characters, killing off the ones he fans love because he's probably a pretty miserable person himself. Or like you create a character like Ned Stark, and then you're like, boom, beheaded. But you keep Joffrey alive for books, right? That was funny that Ormund offered Whole High Tide. It's kind of a mess into the triarchy, but probably sacked it in episode 1. Yeah, and I feel like that was probably something that Ormund knows, right? Obviously, but Ulf has no idea. So like Ormund's like, yeah, we'll just give him like this utterly destroyed and worthless area, but like I'll make it seem all nice and tidy, pun intended, to someone like Ulf, who's just easily swayed, right? And that's just I hated and loved that scene to a certain extent because you also see Ormund's way of acting and just how much of a smooth talker he is in this, how manipulation, like how he works his manipulation on Ulf. Would you rate superhero movie above or below the Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland Spider-Man movies? I mean, like Spider-Man? If you're referring to Spider-Man 1, it's the second best Spider-Man movie. Or, yeah, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 1, and then the rest. It's kind of just how it works. But, I mean, listen, it just, that's another side topic. It is incredible that this movie has already broken $1 billion. It is a statement, which is also another interesting statement about the conversation of just because a movie makes money doesn't mean it's good. Because you can look at the Fast and Furious movies that have grossed $1 billion, the Avatar movies that have grossed $1 billion, the sequel trilogy that somehow grossed $1 billion, and those movies are IP destroying, blasphemous, and terrible writing and terrible everything, and they somehow made over $1 billion each, right? So, but hey, I will say again, I think this was the best Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. I don't like book you're on either. I do it 100%. Never gonna top Storm's dude. Yeah, Halle Berry. Wow, was that? Jamie Lawson and that Storm is gonna feed generations. Is that who it was? Hold on. Yes. 28 years old. I mean, that's the approximate age, because I think what was it? I think we're gonna see her first in Black Panther too. And here's the thing, right? Then we'll get back on to House of the Dragon here in a second, but in the comics, T'Challa and Aurora, they were a thing. Guess what? T'Challa's dead. Maybe they'll be like, "Oh, hey, Storm, you're gonna get with T'Challa's son." Okay. Mobland is September 18th. Hell yeah, dude. And so I was talking with Vex on Discord about what we're going to cover next on Tuesdays. Once this House of the Dragon season 3 is over, and now Terminalist season 2 starts in October. We're 100% covering Terminalist season 2. Now I was like, do we do a bit of a rundown into season 1, kind of a prelude, maybe? Because there's also The Gentleman season 2 comes out, I think September 7th, I want to say. Or is it September 3rd? I think it's September 3rd or 10th. One of the two. I think it's September 3rd. Which is also why we're going to be talking about the Gentleman movie on the 7th. Sorry, that's what it is. But the Gentleman's going to have all the episodes out at once. So I was like, I don't know if we should just like one stream talking about the entirety of season 2 for the Gentleman, or like kind of split it up into 2 weeks. Like we'll cover episodes 1 through 4 and then 5 through 8 for the Gentleman season 2. Do we do a prelude build up the week before that? So we might be covering a few different things. But I mean, I would love to talk about Mobland, because Pierce Brosnan, Helen Mirren, Tom Hardy are great in that show. Yeah, Samara Weaving. I think that might be one of the best castings you could have done as like the superhero or like villain. And she hasn't been on screen yet. I'm like, just the casting alone, I'm like, that's great. I feel like she's the type of person that would be like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and play, an X-Men game or something like that, or read. She'd be the type of person that would be like, I'm gonna read the comics, So that's cool. Timothy Chalamet as Professor X. That might be one of the biggest troll comments ever, Dave. Could you imagine little skinny Timothy? Oh God. Then when we saw casting for Ned Stark, at least he made peace. He was going to die. Save Sean Bean. # dude. Yeah, no, you're like, I'm like, I got it. They got freaking Sean Bean to play Ned Stark. But damn, it means he's going to die again. Ned Stark was betrayed by his own blood and called it honor, just saying. Yeah, stupid ass Sansa. He keeps characters out like Sam should have died so many times. Oh yeah, dude. It's like Sam had this like aura of luck around him that just made him impervious to death. They're casting a new Magneto. I haven't heard anything about Fassbender reprising his role, but also I believe Fassbender is like in his 50s now, right? 49. He just turned 49 in April. So you figure they haven't even started filming anything for X-Men. He might be 51, 52 by the time that happens. And it's like, dude, if you're trying to have this generation, this next iteration of the X-Men and villains be around for the, let's just say the next dozen years, yeah, you have to have someone that's at least in their 30s. Or like we were saying, like Hugh Jackman was 26 when he first started playing Wolverine, I think it was. I don't know how old. Let's see, how old was Ian McKellen in X-Men? Ian McKellen was 61 years old when he first played Magneto in the first X-Men movie in the year 2000. Which, by the time he was done, he was 67 years old. I don't know. I think they need to go younger. Arya Stark is his wife's favorite, which is why he won't kill her off in the show. She should have died several times. That, and even if they're going to keep her alive, don't make her be the person that kills the freaking Night King. Get out of here. Spider-Man 1 is the best Spider-Man movie. I don't know, man. Like after watching Spider-Man 2, like there are things that it's not to say that Spider-Man 1 doesn't do, but Spider-Man 2 just has, I think, a bit more. But we'll talk more about it. Yeah. Yeah, what up, Jacob? Yakub, how you doing, man? Sean Bean died in the book Odyssey. Sean Bean should have played Odysseus in the sequel that never got made, but you know, we talked about that. Yeah, what up, Zaxi? Too bad Jade Cargill can't act. I know, right? Tuesdays. That's how Brits say Tuesdays. And can barely wrestle. We're gonna do Hell on Wheels season 1. I promise eventually we will do we're gonna cover Hell on Wheels. We're gonna cover Rome, Justified. We'll do all the good stuff, I promise. I hated Storm and T'Challa together. I had no build up and was only because they're both black. Yeah. Yeah, we'll be talking about it in September, Jama. Friday 9/18. Oh, I'm doing Mobland. I don't know who else has or hasn't seen Mobland. You know what I thought we could do? If there's like an overlap in shows that are airing at the same time, maybe what we do is like we do like one show the first hour and then we do like the second show like the second hour. And we just kind of combine them. Maybe could potentially do that. Incorporate, try to do that. I guess it also depends like who else is wanting to join, or you know, I don't know. And like I said, I know Vex wants to do Terminalist. Now I know she would do a Hell on Wheels. I don't know if she's seen Mobland. I don't know if like Gord or Goodwin have seen Mobland either. Will Samara wear the thigh high boots and leather vest with cape outfit? I hope so. I hope so. Covering the Gentleman movie on September 7th, Labor Day. And yes, Emma Frost. Listen, January Jones was a solid choice, if I do say so. We need new actors. We do. You're saying Ned betrayed John? Oh, he even betrayed his daughter to who he thinks is the son of a man who would kill John if he knew about him. No, well, yeah. I mean, I think Ned just kind of underestimated the entire situation. 6'7", 6'7", 6'7". I have fluffy hair. That's because I worked out today, Miss Sparkles. I don't know if you know that, but it's El Natural today. There's some weird contractual reason they can't recast most of the X-Men yet. If they try to make a movie before 2027, they're obligated to offer the roles to the current actors. And that makes sense why it's like Kevin Feige keeps saying, like, I think 2028 and beyond. So Miss Sparkles for Rogue. I'm about it. Listen, Rogue better have a great trunk. You know what I'm saying? She better have that junk in that trunk. Wishes that a black and female casted actors being placed together as natural friends. We got more of a Silicon Valley TV show plot where the third party ships them as friends because they share a surface level feature only for them not to want to know each other. Yeah, Silicon Valley is a good show. She looked the part, but she wasn't the better part of Mad Men either. She was just there for looks and like visual attention, if you know what I mean. New unknown or not well-known actress for X-Men. I mean, I feel like aside from Samara Weaving, the other two that have been casted as Beast and I think Rogue too. Is that right? I believe. I haven't really heard of them. Now, I know there's a lot of rumors going around about Indy Navarrete about potentially playing Mystique. Not to saying she couldn't pull it off, but I guess it's interesting to have or to see her say that like that's what she would prefer to play if she had the choice to play any character. But I feel like that would probably allow her to act in a lot of different ways, I guess. I meant to pull this up. Hold on. Let me I was gonna pull up the episode from Waylon, do you remember where in what the minute mark in season 1 episode 2 was where you see throat goat Caraxes? As I'm kind of scrolling through season 1 here, I'm like, damn. Speaking of Mobland, Patty Considine. Find out what minute mark Caraxes is in, Waylon. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Ian McKellen's age tracked kind of well for when that X-Men movie took place. He was around for the right physical age for the Holocaust survivor at the time. Yeah, that worked out perfectly for the story and the setting and him being there. Like that was actually like I didn't mind that at all, right? Because it kind of fit with everything else. Like this is already an established group of X-Men. You know, here comes Wolverine at the time. You know, Rogue was young, obviously, but it worked. And yeah, you can't really do that backstory in contemporary times unless being a mutant makes him age slower. Yeah, it'll be really interesting, honestly, to see where that goes. Like that to me is going to be one of the biggest things about how well this X-Men movie performs. Because the last 2 X-Men movies we've gotten have been, or is it last 2? Or terrible. The last good X-Men movie was essentially Days of Future Past. Even that movie had some issues, but X-Men First Class was a pretty decent movie. I sure no needle will ever touch my skin again. Unless it's a tattoo, right? Or no, maybe not. Yeah, what up, Goodwin? They brought back the Pontiac Sunfyre. They did. They did. Now with gull-wing doors per special request. That's right. I was like, I know the Apocalypse one was one, and I'm like, they teased Dark Phoenix in that movie, and then I'm like, didn't they do like an actual Dark Phoenix movie? But yeah, I never saw the New Mutants movie because that had what's her face in it, the girl who plays Arya Stark. Can't think of her name on the top of my head, but she was in that. I forgot who she played, but I didn't even bother watching that. So yeah, the last 2 movies of X-Men were absolute gutter trash. Let me see if I can pull up while Waylon's doing that. Can I pull up another episode? Maybe not. Okay, whatever. Maisie Williams. Yeah, that's right. Okay, she was werewolf. Okay. I was gonna say Wolfsbane, but I'm like, no, that's X Factor. Let us not speak of X-Men Origins. I don't know what movie you're talking about, Goodwin. I'm pretty sure that was purged from everyone's memory. Oh, that's right. He says that in the 2001. Or no, wait, did Fassbender send that? Or was that McKellen's? 3610. Okay, hang on, let me check. Oh, Waylon, hold on. 36. Good one. While you're here, have you seen Mobland and The Gentleman Show? Okay, let me do this. $36.10, right? You said?
What are you doing here, princess?
Hold on. Maybe I'm watching a different. No, this is season 1, episode 2, The Rogue Prince, right? Oh, it was in X3. Okay, gotcha. Anya Taylor-Joy was. She was in that movie. Wow, I didn't even remember that. Okay, so you skipped The Gentleman, but watch Mobland. Okay. I'm rewatching Mobland season 1 right now, and we are talking about as an option, maybe talking about season 2, which if Jamma, when did you say that starts? Season 2 is September 18th. Yeah. If I start covering it weekly, that's definitely going to interfere with Terminus season 2, which could be interesting to cover both. Go back for HBO's retry this. Let me go back. Okay, so 3610. So let's go back to. Oh, you can kind of see. Let me go back a little bit further. Hang on. It's so laggy. I'm going to reshare my screen because I think it's a. Is this what you're talking about, Waylon? Like you can see throat goat. That's young Rhaenyra on Cyrax, and then you got Caraxes here. Which I mean, in this scale, yeah, I mean, he's a lot bigger. I think that was only it, right? Unless it's a little bit. It's even more before that. I mean, you might be right. You might be right. We'll have to talk. We'll have to talk. But I was talking with Vex about it on Discord. I think the two shows that would be worthwhile talking about for sure that are new would be Mobland season 2 and Terminus season 2. Welcome back, Mad Dog. Working in the mountains. Oh, dude, yeah, it's funny. I pushed the stream back because I was like, I need to eat some food. And I got a notification on my phone that actually no, here's Caraxes. I kept watching. Hold on. Yeah. The bloodworm. Oh, Kristen Cole, you're dead. Ha loser. Man, don't you miss good Damon? We had it so good in season 1. Let me go to this episode now. Gentleman is better than Mobland. Oh, that's a. I mean, I love both shows, so um, good one. I think you might enjoy The Gentleman. I could be wrong, but I think it's I think it's pretty well done. Oh, she played Magic. Oh, yeah. We're not gonna be talking about lanterns. I might talk about it like in just like some sort of one off, maybe on a Friday afternoon, and kind of just bash into it. I was never the big like I had nothing against like the Green Lantern characters, or like I never collected or read many of the DC comics with lanterns. Anything I ever read DC wise was around Batman or Superman. Did I watch Loki season 1 and 2? I did. I did just to watch it. Yeah, the Alien Earth season 2, 2027. We're gonna have a party for that every single week. Yeah, I think you're right though. Hotel's playing Guardians. Nice. Oh, they draw. Okay, I'll go back and check, but I think you're right. I'm gonna try and find the dragon fight here. I don't have subtitles on this stream here, but it's okay. I mentioned to my sister that Kyle Chandler, Coach Taylor from Friday Night Lights, is in Lantern, so I might have to watch it with her. Yeah, I mean, I have nothing against Kyle Chandler, but I think they're. I hope this isn't a spoiler to people, but I'll preface. I read this on the internet. Again, may or may not be true, but apparently he dies in episode 1. So it's like cool. We have Kyle Chandler, and then we don't. You can tell relative size based on their saddles. That's true. Cyrax's saddle is like on a horse. Carax's saddle is more like a benched. Since Damon can't straddle his noodle neck. Yeah. I'm gonna pull up the scene here in just a second. Chicken and rice. Right. I had Wagyu hot dogs. Homemade queso tonight, baby. Woof. We were eating good. Booked in, would have burned them all right there. It should have been good. That's true. But it's been fun to just poo on the last several weeks. We need to do an episode solely on based on Damon Lindelof's Wrecking of IPs. We could totally do that. I'd be down. Let's list the shows that he's destroyed or the IPs. We're pulling an all-nighter for that one. I'm taking off the next day of work. I'm kidding. It's like, and he's dead. Do I ever watch comedy TV shows? Sometimes. I couldn't tell you the last comedy show I watched though. I'll watch reruns of comedy shows sometimes, but I'll go back and watch like an episode like Parks and Rec or something like that. Where is that bloody? Which isn't really bloody. I'm just saying bloody. What do you guys think about when they when they cut off Corliss's finger? They send it back, and Alan opens the box and he sees the ring. I don't know if Ormund had the actual guts to do it He seems kind of squirmish when there is, killing in front of him. Like, you can be able to cut a dude's finger off. I mean, maybe. Yeah. How many black fingers are being sent back to them for being dads? At this point, there's so many black dudes in House of the Dragon, they might think it belongs to someone else. I know. God, I forget what. Okay, we're definitely gonna skip over the Mysaria part because that's gonna hurt my ears. I can't stand here talk. There's One-Eye Damon. Oh yeah. What about when Laris is like, guys, I'm worthless. I am no use to you in a battle, so I'm gonna dip out. But Godspeed, Aegon. I'll be here if you actually get back to the throne. I'll come find you at King's Landing. But until then, I can't hold a sword. I got a club foot. The first time someone swings at me, I'm probably gonna die. I still value my life, even though I'm a nobody at this point. Oh yeah, here we go. Hold on. I think this is a good spot where you can get some nice little size comparison. Hang on. I don't know if it's just the angles, or the way it's maneuvering that kind of makes it seem a bit smaller. But I don't know. I mean, I think, Daemon looks pretty damn small on the riding Caraxes here. Aside from the latter seasons of Game of Thrones, has any Game of Thrones actually got worse than House of the Dragon? It's weird. It's like, if someone said, would you rather watch House of the Dragon seasons 2 and 3 again? Or would you rather watch Game of Thrones seasons 7 and 8? House of the Dragon season 2 and 3 again versus Game of Thrones seasons 7 and 8. Didn't we see Rhaenyra naked, Dany naked again? I think in season 7. I mean, I'm trying to think of some pros at that point, but I don't know. That's a tough one. I'd maybe lean a little bit towards Game of Thrones, but that's probably why I didn't ask me to watch the season. It took me years to stop ranting about how Game of Thrones ruined Jon Snow. Book Jon is a beast. Yep. Jon in the books is a baller. So much better. Now rooting for Aegon at this point because I hate him the least now. Yeah, I know what you mean, Jim, because it's like, man, everyone else just kind of sucks and everything, the way everything's going. And I'm like, yeah, Rhaenyra, she can't be queen. She's not a good queen. So get Aemon back on, Aegon back on the throne. Screw Aemon as well. I can fix her. It looked like an emaciated dog. I probably watch 2 and 3 over the last 4 seasons. Nah, dude, season 5 of Game of Thrones is still good. I like a couple parts in season 6, but you definitely know that things are botched moving forward in season 6. I haven't watched I haven't watched those latter seasons in a while. Someone asked me that after inviting me over, if I'd asked if they owned a pistol. I'd have that instead. GG. I'll watch the Battle of Winterfell on repeat since I can't see anything and just making my own story. Yeah. And here we have Jon Snow actually fighting the Night King in what's a 15-minute sword fight. And Jon Snow actually comes out and defeats the entire army. Okay, that's what I thought. So, I mean, at least there's that. We didn't get anything good here in seasons 2 or 3 House of the Dragon. That's right. And like you see like the open door and like you see Dinklage kind of like peering in all sad faced. Later, Yakub. John on the show is definitely robbed of greatness. That's for sure. Tyrion Lannister is my favorite right now. He's always so put on, but he becomes through in the end, staying strong with Aegon. Yeah, I mean, the fact that he's like, well, I can't leave you by yourself because it's me they're after, so I would be a coward, but yeah, half of season 5 is tolerable. I agree. Like I said, the reason why I forget what episode it is. If I think it is an episode or season 6, but like I like it's stupid contextually, but I like it from a D&D aspect where they just kind of go beyond the wall. That's like a D&D kind of campaign you do. So for Ton staying like that, he had it rough. Yeah, for sure. I believe that was. Kid's not 5'3", is he? He's reported at 5'8". Some have suggested he might be slightly shorter, around 5'6" to 5'7". So somewhere between 5'6" and 5'8". I said, listen, Rossi's 5'3". When you see Rossi in person, Short King, it's 5'3". But at least he's proud of it. Kit's not 5'3" though. Dinklage peers in and sees another door still and a job, and Sourface comes out. Yep. When they went out on Cersei in season 6, not turning her into Robert in the stupid way they portray the Faith is when the show starts sucking. Yes. It was the whole shame. Was that season 6, right? And Lena Headey is all naked and muddy. But bro, like, you don't like seeing Jon Snow out in the open attacking everyone? They should have Arya time travel back in time and knife everyone, put the show out of its misery. Yeah, somehow the dagger creates special time warping abilities and can allow them to go back in time, and she could just like, no. Yeah, this whole show's done. Hard Home is season 5, yeah. Which I enjoyed Hard Home a lot. Yep. 5'8" and pumps. 5'8" is Hollywood 5'5", yeah. Shame Scene was a ripoff of Princess Bride. That is true. I bereave it. Well, see, the thing about it is, Jon Snow is technically still dead because the book has not brought him back yet, and therefore anything that is beyond book 5 to me, isn't really canon. I know the show happens, but and again, that goes back to our theory. Jon Snow in the book was a fantastic character, and the fact that George kills him off, and I tossed my book because I was just pissed off at George after that. It's like, you know what? Wakashima season 6 also bullying at the Vatican, for which she suffered no consequences. Oh, dude, she was 100% a woman villain for the MCU and in Game of Thrones. John is really intelligent in the books, understands politics really well. Yeah, he's a much different and better character in the books. And we just like Jon Snow, so stands to reason George intended to keep him dead. Yeah, and that's why I always wondered if the reason George not only wrote himself into a corner, but has delayed the book from ever being released, even though it was like 1,400 pages in, which I know it might not be the true length to like a novel. But even then, I'm sure that book is going to be at least 100 or over 1,000 actual pages in, it's going to be a thick boy, right? Much like the other ones are. But I think he had things written and that may or may not have been adapted into those other seasons post season 5 and have therefore made George realize, fans don't like this. Some do, but some don't. Maybe I'll focus on other things. And then when I'm gone, my estate can release it after that, and I won't be around to hear the negative remarks. I feel like that's going to happen. George intends nothing because he's not a writer. Real authors write endings to the stories. I do 100%. John worked into Ghost, and he'll leave him there. I expect Ghost point of view chapters, which will never be published. Yeah. Only 1,000 people. Yeah. I don't remember which of the Ice and Fire books were the longest. I forget if it was A Feast for Crows. Was that the longest one of the 5? I don't remember off the top of my head. I have to go look. But I think that's one of the reasons why, like, he actually had that as an ending, and then people realize, oh, this is bad. I don't want this now. Oh, actually, yeah, I can name something good one. He's finished a meal. Yep, Jambo, we're right on it. Yep. A pie, a pizza, a sandwich. That's true. He's never stopped eating dinner. Okay, book 5 is okay. I think a part of why he never had an ending in mind is because his works are so pessimistic, nihilistic, and real political. I guess it's not some hero's journey or metaphor. So there isn't really any logical ending, just more misery. I don't know if George number 1 knows how to finish an ending, but I don't know if he has any idea of how to create something that isn't out of pure misery. George is still eating the first meal he's ever had. It's just one constant meal that is ever going. George finished scripts when he was a TV show writer, mainly because he had a deadline from his bosses. That's true. And he probably wanted to get paid. That makes sense. George basically started a bunch of mystery boxes he had no idea to finish. As he's spoken to J.J. Abrams. George is a child that enjoys the fun part of writing, which is coming up with surprise and subversions, and then not knowing how to expand beyond that, let alone, finish anything. Also, he started the series in the 90s. Yep. He has changed too much to go with all the different endings he has come up with. I agree. All right, let's play some of this little dragon fight here. Okay, so that's a pretty decent comparison. I'll make this a little bit larger here. So pretty decent comparison between seeing Sheepstealer on the left and then Caraxes on the right, you know. I do really like enjoy the look of Sheepstealer though. I think that's one thing they actually did well. The milk goes ever on and on from the pub where it began. I will eat and eat and eat and I must continue to eat if I can. George Gandalf. Oh, George isn't even finished the Duck and Egg Stories. I know. And I think he'd said that he was going to finish the 4th book or novella, right? For that story. And I think, what did he say he wanted to do 7 as well? Or is it beyond that? I forget. Writing satisfactory endings is hard work, which George is allergic to. Yeah. Again, I feel like when he realized, oh, a lot of people were mad that I made Bran king and like Arya is a badass and Jon is a pussy and we're going to make Jon like go into exile and never return. People are going to love that. What's going on, Kazuyagi? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Tuesday here. As the Master Troll, it would be cool if George could get lawyers to sign off on a legally binding that will... wait. As a Master Troll, it would be cool if George could get lawyers to sign off on a legally binding that appeared unfinished as a posthumous troll. That would be hilarious. I don't... For him to do that and to not release the books would be so funny. But like I don't know if that's going to happen, and I don't know. We don't know how long it's going to live for. But I hope that we're all around to see it, and remember talking about the fact that it won't be until he's actually gone that his estate or something along those lines will then allow the book to be released. And then shortly thereafter, they'll be like, okay, so we're also going to release what he had on the 7th book, or maybe they'll have someone finish it to a certain extent. Wild Dragon has an underbite because he never got orthodontics from his dragon keepers. I know, he was neglected as a child, probably. So Daemon left Sheepstealer alive. Yeah. Yeah, Daemon and because Daemon gets knocked off and kind of like, I don't think he was like knocked out, but he was definitely like, you know, he gets thrown off of Caraxes, and Caraxes doesn't go after Sheepstealer. Like I think had Daemon stayed on Caraxes, he definitely could have killed Sheepstealer. But I'm like, I feel like that was intentional, right? Because this doesn't happen, you know, in the book. So it's just like, do you guys think they're going to do a time skip in season 4 or after when they do the things from the book? I think it's possible we could see a time skip. Like, because it's so we were talking earlier about will we see the Battle of the God's Eye? More than likely in season 4. Like, I don't think we're gonna get it in the finale next week, right? So it's a matter of like, when in season 4 do we get it? And then at that point, will there be a time skip moving onwards? It's possible. You know what I'm saying? Like, They did the time skip so well in season 1. Why couldn't they have done that, again? Waylon's done with George. Do you think it's possible he's fully finished Game of Thrones but wants it released posthumously to avoid hearing any criticism? I 100% that. Well, yeah, I would say 9 times out of 10, I will say yes. The one time I might say no is because I think he might have written things differently and then realized that he might piss off some people from the show. It's like, instead of pissing us off, like maybe he's changed things because he's seen the way the latter seasons and how fans felt about them. So it's like, maybe he went back and changed things. But it's like, knowing that if he releases it as is, people are like, well, this is not what happened in the show. Oh, John's the one that kills the Night King. Why didn't we get Dak in the show? Like, that would also create some arguments. And then people would want to say like, oh, why didn't we get that? Why'd you have Arya do it? Well, it's all this other bullshit, right? Like, that could be one potential, one potential future. We don't know. But there again, I think that would also be a reason why he would wait. I would love if he went back and changed things just so people that enjoyed the way the show went would just get like, would just, tarred out. What do you mean? Arya doesn't kill the Night King anymore. Yeah, she never should have. I'm sorry. The same Arya that was too scared to go kill Cersei in the Red Keep. Because the buildings are crumbling down. Same girl that wore a faceless, wore the face of another girl, and then proceeded to feed people, bits and pieces of humans, and then stab what's his face from the Red Wedding. That same girl, yeah, get the hell out of here. Yeah. I mean, at this point, just let us know what you're planning, and then we'll call it, right? Robert Rebellion TV show, or TV series. I remember saying that maybe I think it was maybe around the time House of the Dragon season 1 was happening, because I was like, oh, season 1 was actually really good. It would be cool if they did a Robert Rebellion, like it would need to be a limited series, like probably like a one and done season. But I don't know. At this point, yeah, do we really like seeing how they've been handling these last 2 seasons? Do we want to see one? Because they've deviated so far from the book in seasons 2 and 3. Like, I'm pretty sure they would deviate from the lore for Robert's Rebellion, which would be stupid. Well, but that's what I'm saying. So, like, we don't know what George has actually written, right? So, number one, he wrote what we saw in the actual seasons 6, 7, and 8 in Game of Thrones is actually in his book. Option 2 is he saw the way people were reacting, and he went back and changed it, and then wrote something completely different than what happened in the show, which would also potentially piss off people who liked what happened in the show. At this point, I'm just going to play the cynic route and say, you know what? I hope he wrote something completely different that happened in the show, just so that the people that enjoy what happened in season 6, 7, and 8 can be utterly pissed off that they didn't get the same thing in the book that he releases. Yeah, Filch. It's just one page. It says, "I'm sorry, I never finished the book." They say this is what actually happened in the dance. Leave the mystery because you're ruining what I loved. Yeah, like hearing the ideas of what happened in the past was one of the things that made this whole story great in the fantasy aspect. But now that they're showing it, it's like, oh, well, this is kind of taking the mystery away. And I think again, like anything, you need to have the right showrunner. And I think the problem is that they never they pull George in, but once they realize they have George roped in for like the first season or seasons, then they start to change things. And then George is like, wait, why are you changing things? This is not what I wrote. And they're like, George, back off, man. Like, we know what we're doing here. And George is like, I don't like this. Like, you're changing all the stuff I created. And he's like, I'm out. Peace. You know, the problem with Robert's Rebellion or Aegon's Conquest show would be we already know the plot, so the showrunners will want to make changes to make it their own. Hence why we get Rhaenyra Mysaria, right? And as much as I want to see the Aegon's Conquest movie or movies, whatever they're doing, like I'm definitely a bit skeptical because while we know what happens, and I think arguably it's the best part of one of the best parts of the book Fire and Blood, it also makes me weary that they're going to screw up one of the most exciting parts of that whole book. Arguably one of the coolest characters from anything George has ever produced. Now, I feel like they're probably going to like emasculate the hell out of Aegon, and that's what I'm afraid of. No need for nepotism. I agree. At this point, they ruined the books, and now they ruined my favorite era from its lore. I mean, negativity. Nepotism is like you are the father or the son of a father who's like, or the daughter of a mother that is like, famous. Like you got, Jack Quaid from The Boys, and is really kind of only shoehorned in because of Randy Quaid. Release a blank page book at full cost and make it people sign an NDA and have millions of fans pay full price for a blank 1,600 page book. That would be such a troll. It's just the no, I got an idea. The book starts out, right? It starts off previously in Dance of Dragons, right? And then you start to read first couple pages, and then you get nothing but lorem ipsum on repeat throughout the next like 1,500 pages, dude. Oh God, that would be awful. I wanted to find oh, sorry, doesn't Sheepstealer kind of like roar, like does like a roar or something like that? Like Damon falls over. I was like, damn, all right, Sheepstealer got some power to him. Lori Lightfoot, everyone. It's funny because Sheepstealer's like, I'm ready to throw down, bro. I don't want to, but I will throw down. Here comes Rhaenyra. Hey, dude, Cyrax and Sea Smoke look so small. If anything, Waylon, I feel like Cyrax is smaller now in season 3 than in season 1. Like when you see Millie Alcock get off as Cyrax in season 1 in that episode, I feel like Cyrax looks bigger in that episode than it does here. I'd like a Doom of Valyria show since we don't know how much about it other than the volcanoes go boom. So the showrunner could create what they want without stepping on existing lore. You know, and I feel like would a better route for the Doom of Valeria be animation? Maybe. He will completely destruct Aegon the Conqueror. He will be lost in prophecies, and the sisters will be the actual power and strength. Dude, I 40, I believe that is a plausible scenario. You got two women. We'll make them the power structure. The man, we will weaken him. White man with blonde hair, bad. White women, good. 1,200 pages of food porn. People would still buy into it, even though knowing it was just a troll, just to technically have the full set. Yeah, at that point, we could probably write our own fan fiction and then just make up our own book covers and then just place them in the shelf next to the other 5 books. Cyrax is on Ozempic. I mean, fantasy Ozempic. All the dragons have shrunk. Yeah, what is this, man? Cyrax is too small. It should be the same size or slightly bigger. Exactly. I feel like Sea Smoke and Cyrax should be size equivalent, or Cyrax a little bit bigger. Yeah. Actually, I think the whole series would be better in animation because then at least the characters will actually look like they do in the books. That's true. My fan fiction would have a better ending than George's work. Oh, dude, I've talked about how the rest of this series should have gone numerous times with a couple of friends of mine. And I'm like, I guarantee you I could come up with a much, much better ending. And not just any, but just continuing the rest of the characters up until the ending. I mean, yeah, like see, the thing to me was that when George killed off Jon Snow in the book, and I did one of these things and I threw the book and I was like, damn it, George, I really enjoyed this series, but you just pissed me off here. I thought, is there a way to bring Jon Snow back into the book? Because it's like, who do you have that was left to fight the Night King? Like a redemption arc for Jaime Lannister, who finally sees the truth and is like, no, seriously, like I'm actually joining forces and we're actually going to kill him, because you can't. I mean, I guess you could have had Jaime Lannister actually go full force redemption and betray his sister, but which is what I wanted. Like, hell no, screw Cersei. I mean, I always wanted Jon Snow to fight and kill the Night King. That's just what Jon Snow in the book seemed like he was the type of character to do. The scene in season 2 when Rhaenyra first meets Adam, Cyrax and Sea Smoke are pretty much the same size. Yeah, that's what I remember. They might not even be white blonde. Their mother was from House Valerian. They might get there was cankerers and all that. Yeah. Yeah. That's a good one. He wouldn't have had to kill Jon Snow if he didn't make the Night's Watch to the death. That's true. 8 seasons of Game of Thrones is a dream. At least most of it. Yes, make the cripple kill the ultimate villain. All right, I'm gonna. Okay, so you can kind of. It definitely seems like, number one, they're of the same size. They look like toddlers, dude. No toddler dragons here, and Cyrax is like fucking kids. She's not herself. Who is she? She's Nettles. I was waiting for that. I'm like, oh god. Yeah, okay, this is another better shot too. Like, look, dude, okay, look at now. I'll zoom in on this. Look how big Sheepstealer is. Look at his girth. compared to Sea Smoke's girth. Or even his, well, less phallic. Look at his wingspan. Right? look at the wingspan on Sea Smoke and Syrax compared to Sheepstealer here.
Why are you gay?
I'm not, but you know, I had to do it. Yeah, it's supposed like, so these dragons seem like they're young, right? Like, and I feel like between Syrax and Syrax and Sheepstealer are probably like adult sized dragons. Then you've got like Vhagar's ancient, and then you've got like Vermithor who's old. Silverwing, probably, I don't know, maybe adults, maybe, or young too. I forget. But what about Caraxes though? Isn't Caraxes like, I think Vermithor is like 80 years old or something like that too, though. That's okay. That's, I was like, yeah. But in the scene we saw, was it last week when Vermithor was getting all like touchy feely and intimate with Silverwing? Like Vermithor definitely looked bigger. What up, Shieldball? How you doing, man? I wish the show followed D&D intelligence rules of the dragons because Game of Thrones dragons are dumb as cats. Make sure you tell that to Vex. When you talk with Isaac, sometimes that's what happens. Dreamfyre should be as big as Caraxes also. She didn't look as big. Yeah. I will say though, which I'll try and find, I think Dreamfyre looked cool. Like the design looked cool. I don't know if we'll see anything else from her, but yeah, okay. Caraxes should be in his 90s. Yeah. And then Vermithor is like, yeah, like I was thinking I was gonna say like 130, but yeah, it's probably more accurate to be like 120 to 110. So, because Vhagar is like what, 200? I forgot how old Vhagar is now. How long do they live? They live thousands of years. 30 is not very long then. Yeah, I think they live about 300. Which I could have sworn that, I know Vermithor's like, what? Or sorry, not Vermithor. Vhagar's like over 200 years old. Or hoary old bitch, I believe is what they refer to her in the books. I'm gonna try and Sheepstealer just tanking that. He's like, yeah, hold on, let me do a little defensive check. Okay, it's a deflect. Like if your dragon is shooting flames at another dragon and your dragon just tanks it on its the side of its neck, I'm going, oh damn, all right, well, so it's big for my age. Yeah, she did. I agreed, Dave. I was like that they actually. I know something I always wondered what they're going to do for her design, but yeah, very very good. For that, I was like, that was again around like the dragons is definitely was like some of the best parts of this freaking episode. But yeah, Balerian's the last dragonborn and Valeria, dude, that's the one thing that you cannot screw up in Aegon's Conquest. You have to dump most of your budget into Balerion. Like if he doesn't feel dreadful every single time he's on screen, then you've failed at your job. Like he has to be so monstrous and so terrifying, and you have to add a different flame effect to him when he freaking melts Harrenhal, right? Like That has to happen. If you don't nail that, you need to be fired and barred from ever working on any TV show again. That especially that comes from any sort of source material. But could you imagine having to ride Balerion though, knowing like what Aegon did? Like, let's see. Google says Vhagar's 180, Dreamfyre is 100, Verme's 100, Silverwing 95, Sheepstealer's 85, Krax is 70, Starax and CS Muck are 35, and everyone else is under 20. Rumor was hatched in Jaehaerys' crib. I want to say you're right. Yeah. That's true. Maegor the Cruel. Which dragon's my favorite? Oh, Balerion, hands down. I mean, if we're talking about what we've seen so far, it's definitely going to be Carax's. I mean, as I said, he was talking about the show. I mean, we're not talking about IRL, but it definitely Carax's. Yep. I will finish this until I get knocked off my dragon. Yeah, I think they stopped using live action real dragons after season 1. Probably not, man. I mean, I think you're right. I it's too much to ask for, and it's too much to expect from them to do it now, right? Like, oh, hey, you guys want accuracy? You mean you want to see what's in this? Into this? Like word for word? Best I could do is give you the middle finger. That's what it feels like. It's almost like you would have to do wait a second. Hold on one second. Hold on. You could totally oh god, what where did I see this dragon before? Hold on. I'm having a brain fart, but I'm also remembering something. Hold on. I'm looking up something. I could have sworn there was a dragon in World of Warcraft that had black flames. I could be wrong though. Well, no. Okay, so the black dragon flight, like so Deathwing, and then you had Nefarian and Onyxia technically had black fire. Peter got him after the live action dragon fights. You can't be using live dragons for the show anymore. Dragon lives dragon lives matters. Yeah, you could treat it as spit liquid or something, but it wouldn't behave as flames. Yeah. Like white flames, like it's just that hot. Later, Jamma. Have a good night, brother. Yeah, it's like we're talking like in kelvins here. Because if you think like okay, if we're trying to get a little scientific here, um, let's see. So in order for fire to melt stone, like Harrenhal, right? Um, fire must approximately reach anywhere from 2,000 to 27 uh, uh 2,750 Fahrenheit. Like I forgot what the let's check something out here. Um, I don't know if it was mentioned what the stones of Harrenhal were made out of. Okay, so Harrenhal was constructed of black stone. Um, which I don't really know what that would be compared to in real life. Um, now, granted, it is probably an exaggeration, but like if you think it might be like, let's see here, basalt. Which is interesting because apparently granite, limestone, or basalt do not melt or run down like candles, even in intense structural fires. They can crack, spall, or calcine, but they require temperatures exceeding 1,200 to 1,300 Celsius, which is 2,200 to 2,400 Fahrenheit, to begin softening at their absolute edges, making the liquefied, dripping towers of Harrenhal a pure fantasy creation powered by a magical dragon fire. Um, so like, yeah, do you make it so that his like the white flames are just, it's so hot that that's essentially what it looks like instead? I mean, that thermite burns white. This motherfucker's spitting white phosphorus. Well, the Acolyte did a lot of magical things, as we know, Goodwin. So, one good thing in D&D movies was they correctly had the Black Dragon's breath be acid. That's true. And that just made me think of the freaking dragon from Sleeping Beauty, right? Because that didn't that had green fire. I agree. White phosphorus would be probably even worse. Blackstone might be volcanic obsidian. Um, let's see here. Yeah. Because if hmm. Let's see, the five ruined towers where when Heron died, left misshapen, looking like a melting candle. Tower of Dread, heavily scorched and warped by the direct blast of Dragonfire. Widow's Tower, partially melted, later named the Grieving Women Left Behind. The Wailing Tower, named for the eerie sound of wind mix blowing through the melted porous stones. Yeah, so I mean, like, um, hmm. I mean, white phosphorus would actually be pretty cool. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't expect them to do anything other than just. Actually, this is a pretty cool image here. If I can actually get this to load. on stupid ass Pinterest. Oh my god, really, dude? Hold on, let me try and jerry rig this. It might be hard to do. Like you'd have to have like the lighting just so perfect again, which I don't know if I don't know if I have faith in them to do it, but um yeah, you'd have to do something like this. Hold on, let me change my, what am I sharing here? This one. Obviously this is just an illustration, but like it would be kind of hard to do this as a black flame, right? Like you're having to have some normal looking fire, but also the initial like black fire burn. I'm trying to see if there's any good illustrations out there. But you know, they could totally screw it up. They could do it right. I mean, the size of Balerion definitely needs to be accurate. You know, I mean, there's plenty of illustrations out there that are just, you know, very well done. Um, but I think one of the most important things is making sure that his breath looks the part too. Like how it'd be kind of you know, annoying to see like, oh man, they nailed the look. He just looks fantastic. And then you see his the flames and you're like, "Aw, it's not quite what we thought it was going to be." That's pretty cool image though. Fan art always pretty good because it's made by a true fan. You probably won't see a good. Yeah, it's that was the only one I've actually really seen. So, yellow orange flames, probably, dude. Just like here's a lot of flames. Everything's being melted. Like, you know, which is more than likely going to be the case. But again, if they did something with like the white flames too, like that, I like that idea. Like, you know, that could be pretty interesting. I mean, again, like the blue fire would have made perfect sense for like for Tessarion, but they screwed that up. But um, I feel like again, if you're trying to be scientific to a certain extent, like and to melt some of the stone to have like this semi relatable fantasy type melting point, you would need to have white fire because those stones wouldn't have to burn somewhere between 2000 and 2400, and white fire generally burns between 2400 and 2900 Fahrenheit. But again, blue would be the hottest fire. So, you know, like I don't know if you would have a giant black, you know, dragon that has blue flames. I mean, that'd be kind of cool, not gonna lie. But I don't think they're gonna do that either. And I think they would like again, I think it would make sense that to have just sort of like an initial burst. It's like how do you add I'm pretty sure AI could probably come up with this ironically, but it's almost like how do you have uh it's like you'd have like the initial burst of like the red and you know flames, but around it some sort of like black aura, black hue to it. I don't know. Dragon Slayer used blue flames. Yeah. Yeah. So like kind of like that initial, like, you know, right. If you have like the mouth that's going to have more color behind it, so you can see the like the you know the black flame kind of coming out, that could work. Uh, I want to see the last part of when they actually are fighting here. Let me see if I can find the other parts. I know we don't want to watch this stuff with Mysteria. Aemon gets poisoned. Oh, here it is. Hang on. I'll play it. I'll have to mute it because there's some music behind it. But what's in the box? What's in the box? It's a nice ring you got there, bud. Uh, okay, here's the Dreamfyre part. Oh, what just happened? What is happening? There we go. Okay. Dreamfyre was a slut too, laying eggs all over the place. Yeah, speaking of Dreamfyre, so Helena's having this dream, right? And but again, I think a pretty cool design for Dreamfyre. It's hard to tell the scale, but it seems like she's pretty big. She got a lot of horns, a lot of spikes on her head and her neck. So she looks a bit small here, though. No, am I wrong? Looks a bit small. I was like, damn, Helaena getting down. They'd only be able to identify me by the middle finger since I show it so often. Yeah. Oh, hey, my dag's ring. I always wanted that. Puts it on his finger, walks off whistling. Yeah, it's like now who's the Valerian? She's horny. It makes sense that she was exactly. Yep. The shoe fits. From that angle, she looks about as big as Cyrax. That's what I'm saying. Like that, it's like she just seems like she should be a lot bigger. Crax is going to be at 72, 73, given his first rider roll from 72 AC. Okay. Yeah, Dreamfyre way too small here. And it could just be the vision, so it's not true to size. But there again, if they're like, oh, we're going to use this model as is, we're just going to keep it that way, then it's definitely too small. And stuff. But yeah, I mean, the rest of this episode had to wait. Oh my God. This fucking part, dude. I'm not going to play it because I'll just abruptly end the stream. But this whole part, dude.
Holy shit.
I literally there's like four or five of us watching this on Sunday night, and we were all just like going like boo, like they're like almost like Nick fast forward through this shit. And I'm like actually I gotta go take a piss. Just tell me when it's over. So I was like, dude, it's what a waste. Again, let's insert this bullshit because But guys, there's another love triangle. This whole episode is about love triangles. We've got Adam, Alan, and Bela. We've got Alice, Alicent, and Aemond, and then we've got Rhaenyra, Mysaria, and Daemon. Look at that. 3 triangles. Oh my lord. And a triangle has 3 sides. Oh my gosh. Actually, they're not even that clever to do something like that. We saw Dreamfyre twice in season 1 when young Aemond went down to the Dragon Pit basement. Oh, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, in the cave when it was dark. Yeah, she looked massive in that episode. Right? Man, now I want to go back and kind of watch parts of season 1 because it's such a lot better. The situation is small. I'm the Valerian now. Agreed. I mean, hey man, it might not happen in the show. They might totally go off in a different direction. George writes for convenience and not keep his own lore, and pisses me off. I know, but listen, neither can the showrunners though. They can't keep up with the lore either. Yeah, it was like definitely like, hey, do you want to get another drink or do you need to go take a piss? Mute. Fast forward. the maids come in here to try and clean the room. Like, it's extra fishy in here. Bela and her 2 uncles made my eyes roll out of my head. I know, dude. But you know, we said this a bit earlier. Tyrion Lannister, man, he's probably one of like the decent parts of the show right now, and especially in this episode, since he's like, well, I'll die with you, Aegon. It's fine. Even though there's an entire fucking army right here, right? But like Jamma was saying earlier, like I'm kind of cheering. I love Daemon. And Matt Smith is carrying this show as much as he possibly can. But aside from Daemon, I'm cheering for Aegon at this point. I just give me. I'm like, but also I think it's funny because there were some people on X, and I will not name names. But if you want to dig for posts I've commented on, you could probably find them. But people are like, no way they killed off Sunfyre. And I'm like, he's not dead, y'all. Like, if you read the book, you know what happens. I'm like, it's going to happen by the end of the season. Relax. Sure enough. Voila. Because if they left them dead, but we even said like he doesn't look dead. He's not. There's no decay like there is with melees. But I mean, I like the effect on Sunfyre looked very obviously similar to Aegon. You know, 2 peas in a pod. I love that Waylon got this pissed. This is what happens with me in Rings of Power, so I feel you. He got with this burnt hot dog, pretty much. They killed off Sunfyre. Also, some fans. Jean Grey didn't kill anyone. Yeah. She just walked a dude into a car. It's fine. But yeah. Yeah, we'll probably get the same type of fire, honestly, and the dragons have better dialogue than Nolan's scripts. Yeah. Black Flames for Dragons is similar to Darksaber, which always looks stupid. Yeah, you know, I mean, again, this is something you could totally do in animation, right? Which I think again would probably be a disservice to Balerion, but if it was animated, it could work very well. Like you had the what was it, the lightsabers in KOTOR, or actually I should say SWOTOR, the Old Republic MMO, that had different colors. So it would be like the inside, like the middle part of the lightsaber would be, actually I'll just pull up images again. Different to do it on a lightsaber than doing it on dragons in a flame, but it's like there was like different, the core of the lightsaber would be black, and then there would be some sort of like hue around it as opposed to like having a white core. Would definitely be kind of hard to do. Well, I don't know how you would do it. I almost want to see if AI could do it. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. Oh, that's too bright. Let me remove. So like, see, like, I mean, again, this made sense and worked in a video game, but like the core of the lightsabers would be black or white, but then you had the different coloring on the outside. So it's almost like if the part of the flame of maybe the inner part of that initial burst was black, but then you had like the red or like the the orange and yellow combinations at that point. You could do something like that, perhaps, maybe. Again, I don't know if it's even possible to do it practically in a live setting. Could very well not be as good as I would want to be or envision it in my head. But yeah, you need to be straight up magical fire, which is where it absorbs light, so the flames cast a shadow or something. Yeah. Aegon doesn't notice his charisma roll is a 1 since Sunfyre rolls a nat 12 in stealth intimidation, dude. Yeah. That's a good one. I just say I love the fact that in this scene here, there's a lot of screaming happening. There's people that are screaming from being burned from Dragonfyre, right? And then you literally have Sunfyre breathing the fire, so it's almost like the dragon is screaming, while murdering people, and defending its rider, the king. But then you have Aegon, who's also yelling at the same. Holy shit! Yeah, Sunfyre was actually doing side missions. Assassin's Creed Sunfyre. An unlockable player character of the dragon. Something like the accelerant is colored, then changes to the natural fire when it's burning the other sources. Yeah. So it's like the initial burst, and as it hits it, and then it kind of goes into like a other type of like natural, like flame retardant. I just hope that they're like Goodwin said, like you need to have some sort of like have it be magical. Like you need to have some sort of creative thought process in how you're going to make this work. Like somehow you have to use it. Like you have to try and use practical effects to your advantage to make it seem like it is. Because again, if you're already going to CGI the biggest dragon that you've ever seen, and then to the point where it's going to be, people are going to want to see it a lot, and especially in that moment, people are going to want to see it. And so like, well, we're going to have to dump a lot of money, into the dragon itself for the effects, but also if we're going to have any sort of additional effects, which to go when it might be harder to do that as an effect. And if that's the case, how much is it going to cost us? Like, let's get some rough ideas by using some sort of AI generative, effect here. And if that's the case, what, yeah, how much is that going to run us? It's like, well, yeah, in order to get the flames, that costed us like, $1 million or something like ridiculous. Just like the flames for this episode in Harrenhal cost more than like another actual episode. It's like entirely of like Game of Thrones or something like that, which would be ridiculous, but maybe also worth it. It's like, if you're going to spend your money on something, do it. To me, it's do it on something that would actually be pleasing to the fans, and that people would just get this, circulate that clip or that moment, or reference it like anywhere, where it just gets so much notice and traction, and just like recognition, which people are going back and watching that part again and again and again, then that's kind of generating some views or whatnot. But honestly, I this is probably you can kind of see like how messed up Sunfyre's face really is. It almost has like this kind of zombie-esque look to it. I mean, face is clearly gone. It's got like a weird, lazy leftover eyeball. It's probably not working that well. Mouth is all exposed, teeth all messed up. Like, I mean, it's definitely seen better days. So I appreciate some of the work that went into this. Again, Goodman said, some of the actual people are working, but the writers are not. Most of those flames were used are using a powdered fuel, but they light as they come out. So to try and do black flames, you need a black powder that sprays out, and then you're triggering fire on everything. Yeah, everything it lands on. Yep. Yeah, so you'd have to have some really well coordinated, like firework effects, like flame effects at that point, which, I again, a lot of planning I don't want to say it's impossible, but I mean, like they'd have to really, really set up shop very, very well. And honestly, though, I feel like again these type of special effects, like the sound design and that kind of stuff, like those teams usually end up putting in some of the best work. Not so much on the writing aspect, but if like the special effects guys are like, okay, here's what we have, here's what we're gonna do, and then like, okay, cool, and then they do it like, boom, nailed it, and everyone's like, dude, the melting of Harrenhal was just so well done. Hopefully, the writing would be the equivalent to that. Whereas, yeah, majority of others writing in this show is not that good. Yeah, I like that too. The opposite side of it's both bad sides, they're melted sides, scar sides from Aegon and Sunfyre are mirroring each other, while their good sides are on the opposite. I think all of them, like everything we see here as an example is probably CGI. But I think there could be some sort of like initial like green screen, maybe with some detailing on it. They never talk about that stuff, and after like the show, like, here's more about what we did in the episode. Yeah. Like that, show me the good stuff. Talk about like the effects. Talk about like the what you guys did with Sunfyre. That's what I was hoping we'd see. Nope. No. Instead, we're getting the explanation of some dumbass love triangle that's not actually a love triangle. I also have the problem dispersing the black powder since it won't be burning. Yeah, I said it's gonna be tough. It'll be tough. Yeah, you know what I mean. Non-charred sides. To them, it's good. To us, it's still not so good. They'll screw it up. The tapestry in the opening shows Vhagar at Harrenhal with Balerion. Yeah. Adam Savage has done some episodes on the. Oh, really? I don't think I've seen those. I'll have to check him out though. With Ulf. Yeah. Him and Ormund. And Ormund's like, yeah. Take Driftmark. Because, you know, that has a lot of value in it now. You know what? The one thing I actually did not look to see if there were any promo pictures for the finale. Probably not, since it's the finale, right? They're probably trying to keep it all on the wraps aside from the trailer, which is all I can really see here. But we also know we know that the big battle is going to be next week, so which I think it's just going to be called the Battle of Tumbleton, so is the title for that episode. It can't be anything else. Sunfyre was just waiting for Aegon's balls to drop and be a man. Yeah. I like to think of it as the finally, like, oh God, finally my writer is is grown up to be a man. Sunfyre realized that Aegon finally watched Orgasmo. Let's see here. Yeah. I don't know. I didn't hate the episode. I didn't love it either. You know. I mean, it's cool to see Sunfyre back, but some of the other changes in this were just not very good. I hope next week though is the best episode that we've gotten. I mean, I think it has the possibility of being the best for this season, which again may or may not be saying much, but you kind of have to do that, you know. But we'll see. The finale is next week, so we'll talk episode 8. Finale of House of the Dragon season 3. We'll see how good or bad that is. And then the following week, we will move on to a new show, which I hope to have solidified at some point next week. So, but I'm going to call it here. We're going to raid AJ. Abomination AJ, a.k.a. the man who loves furries and Tarzan and Lion King. Hey, is he live? I thought he was just live. Okay, he is live. Yep. We're gonna raid AJ. What do we want to say to AJ over on YouTube? I'll think of something here. I hope it's an off-screen battle like fish feed. I hope not. I hope we see some actual battling and some a lot of deaths, a lot of blood. You think it'll be just a battle of some fallout? I think it's gonna actually be a battle. You have to. You can't do like there's the start and it fades to black and then it fades back in and I was like, oh, here's everything else. Later, shield ball. Gina. I say, yeah, we should BH like real early on in the stream. That's why I'm not wearing pants anymore. I can't stand up. I just have a shirt on now. It's probably the titties. Yeah. Sunfyre Johnson says, I was always here, Obi-Wan. You just weren't ready to see me. If I stand up right now, then my stream is immediately going to get taken down, and my channel is probably going to get nuked from YouTube. But for the right price. It just makes me think Sunfyre was doing the Dune step so it avoids Shai Hulud. Sunfyre was doing a special a foot walk that Aegon had no idea. Yeah, there's the special price stroke cam of $500,000. Yeah, we'll be here for next week for the finale, Jaina. And we're talking what are we talking now? Massive Monday is on Monday. We're talking Lincoln Lawyer. So say what's up to AJ. I'm gonna raid his ass. Oh, that sounded bad. I'm gonna raid his channel. Terrible. We had a good one. I'll hit you up. And then yeah, it might be I'll be on ABF stream tomorrow. I might do a gaming stream Thursday night. And I might do a Friday afternoon stream. We'll see. But you all have been awesome over on X and my folks here on YouTube. So hope you guys have a great night and happy hump day tomorrow. Say what's up to AJ for me.